Hey mama, does your anger or rage ever get so escalated with your kids that your husband has to step in? Do you cry yourself to sleep at night replaying how you treated your kids that day? Do you ever feel like you've become the mean mom you swore you would never be, like everything out of your mouth is rude, unkind, and harsh? Do you wake up dreading the day and feel annoyed by your kids as soon as you wake up? Mama, I get it. I've been there. That is why I want to personally invite you to join me for a free 4-day anger management bootcamp designed specifically for Christian moms like you. Over the 4 days, I will teach you how to uncover the real root of your anger so you can finally stop drowning in guilt and shame. Proactively build your patience so you can handle your kids' big emotions without losing control of your own. Rewire those automatic negative thought patterns and start taking your thoughts captive just like the scripture calls us to, and break those generational anger cycles so your kids can grow up in a Christ-centered home filled with love, grace, and emotional safety. We will meet live on Zoom Monday through Thursday, September 8th through the 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you cannot make it live, don't worry, there will be a replay delivered straight to your inbox. Plus, there will be a giveaway and even opportunities to get coached directly from me during the bootcamp. Mama, you don't have to stay stuck in these painful cycles. Let me show you what it looks like to experience God's peace and transformation in your motherhood. If you want to take the first steps to break the reactive anger cycle, sign up using the link below. Did you know that your expectations of what you expect your kids to do plays a humongous role in how you handle your responses? If you expect certain things and your expectations are not met, you feel very frustrated, agitated, annoyed, and even angry. Before we jump into this podcast episode, I'm going to play a clip of one of the wins that one of my clients shared on our coaching call. She's a mom of 2 toddlers who came into the coaching program struggling with rage, like out of control rage, hurting her kids, in out of control anger, filled with so much shame and remorse. And you will get to hear her full testimonial in just a couple weeks. But in this podcast episode, I will share with you a clip from our group coaching call where she shares her really massive win that was really transformational for her. So listen in.
My daughter woke up at 2 a.m. She woke up early. She came into the room. She stumbled in. I didn't say anything. Usually I would immediately cut her off and say, just go back to bed, go back to bed. I just want her to go to her room. And I took a deep breath and I let her come around. And it's cute. I mean, it was cute to see this moment. Like her hair is very curly. So all you see is like this big frizz ball and her little undies coming over to me. And I couldn't help but like laugh. And she's like, Mommy, there's a dinosaur in my room. And she keeps having like these dinosaur dreams. And I let her talk and I said, I'm so sorry that happened. I said, and I tried something different this time. Instead of saying, let's go right back into the room, I said, do you want a sip of water? And she said, yeah, I want a sip of water. And I went and got her and she held my hand and gave her a sip of water. And she's like, I want you to put me to bed. I want you to rub my back. She's so talkative at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, okay. And I went and rubbed her back. Was very calm the whole time and, didn't interrupt her or try to like hurry out of the room like I normally do and just say, stop crying, go back to bed angrily and all the things. And I rubbed her back and then she gave me like a little smile afterwards. After I said, I'll see you in the morning, give her a kiss. And I watched her, they have the camera in the room and she took a little bit to go back to bed. So I thought she was going to get up again and she didn't. She just turned over and I don't know what she did. She ended up falling back to sleep. But I was pretty calm. And I'm very surprised that I was calm because I actually was having a really good night's sleep. I did not want to wake up. I did not want to get up. It was like nice and cold and I was just having a really good night's sleep. I just want to keep sleeping. And usually I would get so mad because I'm like, now I have to try falling back to sleep again and just getting irritated. And I didn't. I just kind of accepted it for what it was. I was happy that she stayed in her bed. And then I ended up just falling asleep. So that's my win from this morning.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Because I know that when you first joined, that was one of the big triggers for you where you would react poorly. Do you think your daughter senses your calm and that allows her to remain more calm and
Yes.
like transition easier?
Yeah, because if she knows when I'm trying to, you could say, like, fight with her and like argue with her, and when I'm just not happy. And then the more that I want to, in the moment, do what I want to do, which is to be mad, to be angry, to complain, why are you sleeping? Like, there are many times I've asked her, why are you up right now? Like, why are you here? Why are you up? Like, go back to bed. Like, there's nothing in your room. Like, just kind of like that. And then she'll start crying, but mommy, this, mommy, all the things. And she picks up when I'm trying to rush out of the situation versus taking just, it took a shorter amount of time to do that versus the hour plus it would take to go back and forth with her. She won't stay in her bed because now she's all worked up because I'm worked up.
And you
So
get more frustrated the longer it takes.
yeah, yeah. And then I would get really angry. But if I just took the one time and just kind of literally bit my tongue and asked her if she wanted water and just put on a good attitude, she stood in the bed. She did not get up. She did not fight me. She didn't cry. She didn't beg me to stay in the room. It was like if she sees that I'm okay, then it's like almost permission for her to be okay,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very, very, very like a 360 compared to what it was a few months ago. It would not have been that way at all.
We talked about through Voxer, she comes to you because you are her safe space. Like she has a dream with a dinosaur that scares her, right? She feels scared. She wakes up, she comes to you because you are her safe person.
Yeah.
And that's why she's drawn to you. And so creating that safe space for her to come to and like, I got you. Like, I got you. I'm here. Let me help you. What do you need right now? Like, you can get a sip of water. Okay, let me help you. Mommy's right here. I love you. And
Yeah.
creating that safe place where she can come to you knowing that you'll be there and that you will create that calm for her. And so that is such a great win. I know you still sometimes will message me, Mom, it's, oh, I got frustrated here and there. But compared to 2.5 months ago,
Yeah.
like you are a completely different mom.
Yeah. It's crazy. My husband's starting to notice too a little bit.
Yeah.
He's very internal and doesn't say kind of like what's going on. I have to kind of ask him, like, but he's like, oh, how's everything been going? And I asked him, I said, do you see like any changes? Because you're here, you bear the burden of a lot of my feelings. And he was like, yeah, I see that you're definitely more patient with the kids and you like take the time to literally get down on their level and kind of talk to them. So he's saying I'm more patient, which is good.
What a massive win. Did you hear her story? How amazing is that, and how far she has come in the way that she responds instead of reacts in harsh ways. So let's talk about how to shift our expectations that will create massive wins and increase your patience as a mom. And it can even go along a little bit of what Valentina shared in the message above. So, yesterday we had a coaching call with some of my clients, and one of my clients shared with me that she struggles with her son feeling very impatient. And what she specifically struggles is that he just about every time is resistant to what she asks him to do. Meanwhile, her stepson is a complete opposite. He's always compliant. And you know what? I told her, I'm like, first of all, I think God is using your son's resistance to teach you patience. Here's the thing. How in the world are you going to grow as a mom if your son was constantly and always compliant? If he did everything you wanted him to do right away, immediately as you ask them to do it. You wouldn't even realize that patience is a muscle that you need to grow and learn. So she specifically struggles with control and, patience. And I will actually link her testimonial in the show notes. She completed the coaching program and she experienced massive results, and then she wanted some continued ongoing support. And so that's what we were doing in our call yesterday. She has already come a really long way, but she still experienced some struggles here and there. And so do I. I'm not perfect at this. And so I shared with her, and I challenged her, and I'm like, what if your son was always compliant? He never challenged you. He always did what you wanted him to do right away. Would you even realize that patience is something that you need to grow? That is something God needs to refine you in? God is using your son's resistance to teach you patience, to sand you down for you to recognize, hey, this is an area that I actually need to grow in and mature in. And this is an area where I need to lean more on the Lord and intentionally work on in growing into who God is calling me to be. So my mindset coach, she has a really great definition of patience that I really like. Patience is knowing what you want, knowing that you will get it, and being willing to wait for it. What? I think that is such a great description of patience. You know exactly what you want. You know you're going to get it eventually, and you're willing to wait for it. So patience is something the Bible calls the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22-23. And here's the thing, patience isn't something that we are born with. It is something that we learn over time with practice and experience and all the hard opportunities that God provides our way. So something I have noticed is some people are just naturally more patient. And some moms don't even struggle with anger that much, the way that you and I do. Some people are just naturally more easygoing. And this is not one of the fruit of the Spirit character qualities that they need to work on as much. They're naturally just easygoing. They're naturally more patient. They're naturally more empathetic and understanding and loving, but they might struggle in completely other different areas. Right? And so if God is calling you to grow in the area of patience, let's be intentional and actually work on it. So let's talk about the perspective that I shared with my client on the call. So one of the things is that when she asks her son to do something, she expects him to do it right away, immediately, with yes, ma'am, with absolutely no resistance. And it's almost like part of it is because her stepson does that and he does it really, really well. And so she sees another kid do that and she's like, well, why can't my kid do that? My kid should be able to do that. Well, her son and her stepson have very, very different personalities, like night and day. And her son is naturally one that would challenge and resist. He's a typical boy who has a lot of energy, has a hard time concentrating maybe and focusing, and he can get easily distracted, and he challenges her in a way where he wants to see how far he can push her limits and how much he can get away with, and challenges her boundaries. That's just how he naturally is. So I challenge her because right now her perspective is my son should listen right away, immediately as soon as I ask him to do something. That is her belief. So a belief is a thought that you have over and over again. And so it becomes a belief. So for her right now, her belief is my son should listen right away. And I challenge her to shift it, to create more patience and expect for him to push back because he's testing his limits and that is part of his personality. What if when you ask him to do something, instead of expecting him that he should listen right away, yes, you can still teach that to him. And what if you just expect that he's going to give you pushback because that is part of his personality and that he is testing your limits. What if you just shift your perspective? And I'm going to give you a bunch more examples here, how you can shift your perspective of your expectations that will increase your patience with the kids. Would that make a difference? What if you just expect him to give you pushback? I know he's going to give me pushback. That's normal. He does it all the time. I'm still going to get him to do what needs to get done by setting boundaries and limits, and I'm willing to wait for it. It doesn't have to get done immediately. That's split second when I told him to do something. I know he's going to still get it done today, and it can get done a little bit later, and I'm willing to wait for it because I know it's going to get done. What if we shift into that perspective? Would that feel better to you? So let me give you some examples of personal examples with my kids, and I think you will relate with that. So my toddler is 4 years old, and she has this thing, which you could probably relate. Every time I put her to quiet time, I say, hey, Nellie, I need you to go potty before I put you to quiet time. I don't need to go potty. Do you need to go poop? No, I don't need to go poop. So I put her to her quiet time. Or when you put her to bed at night, same thing. You ask her to go on the potty. She's like, no, I don't need to go. You put her on there. She's like, it's not coming out. And then you put her to bed. I kid you not, like a few minutes in, every time without fail, she's like, I have to go poop. I need to use the bathroom. And what if I expect her to stay in quiet time without coming out? Does that feel really frustrating? I took her potty, she chose not to go, and now I expect her to stay in her quiet time without coming out and interrupting me. Well, guess what? She's gonna. What if I just expect that this is normal for a toddler? I expect that when I put her in quiet time or into her bed at night, that a few minutes later, she's going to want to go in the bathroom. She's going to want to use the bathroom. And I'm just going to let it happen. I cannot control her bowel movements. I can put her on the potty. I can ask her to go, but I cannot make her go on the potty. All right. And so what if I shift my perspective like, oh, well, I expect her to want to go on the potty as soon as I put her down. So I'm going to put her down knowing that in a few minutes, she's going to need to go on the potty. That doesn't feel frustrating anymore. Expecting that a toddler wants to buckle themselves in the car seat when you put them in the car seat. Instead of like, I'm going to buckle her, she needs to listen to me whenever I told her to buckle. And sometimes there's a time and a place for that. And what if this is a normal part of development as a toddler and you expect your toddler to want to buckle themselves? And that they're going to want to do it by themselves. That doesn't feel so frustrating. What if you expect your kids to come out of their room at night, want a drink, or want you to lay down with them when you put them to bed? If you put your kids to bed and you say, I need you to stay in your bed, no more coming out of the bed, and then they come out, and then what? What do you expect yourself to do? What if you shift your expectation? And you expect that it is normal and common for your kids to come out of their bedroom a few times after you put them to bed. Sure, you can set all things in place. You can give them snacks. You can give them a drink of water. You can turn on a podcast. You can lay down with them. You can read with them. You can do all the right things. And they might still come out, even though you ask them not to. What if you expect that they're going to come out a few times? And that's just of what they do. You can still teach them to stay in their room and set them up for success. And what if you just expect that? Does that feel so triggering for you? Expect that it will take a while for your kids to get out the door or struggle to find their shoes. What if you expect that it takes us 15 minutes to get to the car instead of 2 minutes? And you shift your expectation. Or when your husband comes home from work and he goes to the bathroom, and he takes a long time. Anybody relate? Like 45 minutes? Anybody? Raise your hand. What if you just expect that he takes 45 minutes every time he goes to use the bathroom? instead of expecting him to take 20 minutes or 10 minutes or expecting him to be there with a baby, right? Like, yes, you might communicate with him. Hey, I would really appreciate for you to take less time. I really need your help. Would you please hurry up? And again, you cannot control him or make him do what you want him to do. What if you just shift your mindset around it? I just want to challenge you. If this doesn't work for you and you have a lot of pushback, do you. I'm not forcing you to change your perspective. You do your thing, but I'm just letting you know you might increase your patience. Actually, you will increase your patience if you shift your expectations. Here's the point. We cannot change other people, but we can change ourselves. What we think, what we say, and what we do. That is fully in your control. When you start expecting that you already know what is going to happen, it feels much less frustrating. You stop feeling blindsided. You stop being triggered as easily, and you can start responding in a way that you are proud of. So this is my encouragement for you today. Expect what you already know typically happens, and then focus on expecting yourself to respond well, because that is truly what you have in your control. Expect yourself to respond well. Dear friend, my dear mama that is listening to this podcast episode, if you feel that you're constantly annoyed, frustrated, angry, yanking your kids, yelling, screaming, and then lying in bed at night filled with so much shame and remorse at the end of the day, it's time for change. You can choose to change. You don't have to stay stuck. This fall is the perfect time for you to invest in yourself and your motherhood. My Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program will help you create the lasting change your heart longs for so you can actually enjoy your kids and feel good about the mom that you are becoming. So you stop screaming and yelling. So you stop being agitated and annoyed and have that rough tone or harsh reactions. So you can actually build a close, safe relationship with your kids. My friend, if you want to learn more, in the show notes, there's a link for you to check out my Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program. And the next step is to book a free consultation call. On that call, we get to talk and you share with me your story, all the things that you've tried. And if I feel like my Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program is the next best step for you, I will then share with you all the details. And you get to decide if that is the next step that you want to take. So the next step is to check out my Calm Christian Coaching Program and decide if this is something that God is calling you to do. Right now, I'm going to play to you a recording that one of my clients who just finished Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program last week, her name is Kelly. She has 3 kids, 4, 2, and a 1-year-old, and she just completed my coaching container. And she sent me this recording on the app that we communicate in, and just reflecting on the progress that she had made in the coaching program. So I want to just share this clip with you and the transformation that God did in her life, and to finish my podcast episode with you listening to this clip.
Hello again, Elizabeth. I just wanted to send some of my answers to the week 12 reflection questions. So I think the first one was, what goals did I set for myself at the beginning of the program? I really just wanted to decrease the mom anger and the rage episodes. And then I wanted to understand why I was reacting the way that I was. And a huge part of that for me, especially in the very beginning, was the over spiritualization component. I know that we had talked about that so much of how I was just I'm reading the Bible, I'm praying, why am I not showing up in the ways that I wanted to? And so I think a huge goal for myself was just understanding what was going on with me. And I feel like I was able to do that through your program. So I definitely feel like I have grown a ton and seen a lot of results. There's still times where I don't show up with my kids the way that I want to. And I think that's just everybody. That's just life. That's just being a mom. I realize that we're just never going to be perfect with our kids, especially in this life. Everything that I have learned has greatly impacted my kids and then my husband as well. With my kids, I just feel like I've really grown in so much compassion and empathy for them. That was not something that I really had before the program. I just kind of expected them to do what I told them to do when I told them to do it. I don't think that I would have like said this, but I think that I definitely kind of had that belief of children need to be seen, not heard type of thing. Kind of, I would have never said that going into the course, but I realized that I think that maybe that's a belief that I held, and just them needing to be little robots and be perfect all the time. Like I wasn't really allowing space for them to just be kids. And I feel like I've just grown in compassion and realistic expectations for like, this is how kids behave. It's like, I'm not doing anything wrong necessarily. Like if our kids are yelling and screaming and hitting or whatever, like that's just something, like it's an opportunity to teach them in the right way to go. So yeah, I feel like my relationships with my kids have changed for the better. Same with my husband. With my husband, the mindset stuff has been so helpful, trying to reframe different situations. And my relationship with myself has definitely changed. Like before, I not only thought that I was a bad mom, I believed that I was a bad mom. I believed that the less time that my kids spent with me, the better off they would be. I mean, just those types of like awful, really sad thoughts. I just do not feel that way anymore. Even if I have a hard moment or a hard day, I don't go to bed thinking that like I'm such a horrible mom anymore. So that's, yeah, my relationship with myself has changed like significantly. Honestly, maybe even more so than like my relationship with my kids and my husband. I feel like I've noticed internally just a ton of growth. My mindset has improved. I think that we all wish that it would be like, oh, like we've done this mindset work and then it just sticks and it just becomes like a new normal and we never have to think about it again. And to some extent, like there is some truth to reprogramming and it is becoming a new normal. I definitely default to things now that I wouldn't have defaulted to before. However, I'm still finding that it's something that you have to like intentionally be thinking through every day, vision writing, speaking over yourself, because I feel like I don't do those things. It's easy for me to kind of backslide. So I feel like before I was like absolutely losing it with them, maybe like once a week. But now it's maybe like once or twice a month. I really just don't feel like I'm losing it with my kids, at least like I was before. If I do get frustrated with them, it is easier for me to recognize why that happened. Like yesterday or the day before, I was just like reflecting in the 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, why do I just not feel great? And I realized I'm like, well, I haven't eaten anything all day besides like a piece of bread. So that's probably contributing. What do I feel like has contributed to success? Well, first, of course, I just think like the Holy Spirit. Like I just felt very drawn to your program. I felt like it was a God thing. I feel like he opened all the doors, all of those types of things. So there's definitely that spiritual side of it that's contributed to success. But also like I just tend to be a very diligent person. I tend to be very type A. I tend to finish what I start naturally. So I feel like that kind of like go-getterness that I've always had just also contributed to the success of the program. How do I feel about myself as a mom today? I'm confident that like I need Christ more than ever, honestly. Like I need him. But I'm like excited about the future. I'm excited about today. I see myself as like a work in progress and I don't hold myself to like this unrealistic standard of perfection that I used to. And I also just feel like I have such a story to tell now. I feel like before it was like I wasn't really wanting to tell people about this I'm not necessarily wanting to like shout it from the rooftops or anything still, but it's like that openness of just like I feel like I have a story to tell and I relate and resonate with people who are being real. Like and I'm just kind of over like, the moms that are like, oh, everything's great. I'm not struggling with anything, because I just have found that to not actually be the case, because I've been that person before where I'm like, oh, everything's great. That really just is a lie, honestly. I mean, I think that there are times where things are great, right? But trying to put forth this mask of everything is always perfect, which I think is a very common thing in ministry and just within the church in general, it's just exhausting. And I think the transparency among moms is really refreshing to be like, well, no, I struggled with this, or I used to feel this way or whatever, and be able to just celebrate like the work of Christ in that situation is really cool. I'm very happy that I made the investment. It's been worth every penny. And I'm just, yeah, super grateful for your program. And again, just like super honored by this opportunity. And I just can't thank you enough. I'm just so grateful for the last couple of months.
Mama, before you go, I have to remind you about the 4-day anger management bootcamp happening Monday, September 8th through Thursday, September 11th. If you feel scared of what the next 5 years might look like in your relationships with your kids, if your anger continues to stay reactive, harsh and out of control, then this bootcamp is for you. In just 4 days, you will learn how to uncover the real root of your anger, build patience so you can respond calmly, rewire those negative automatic thought patterns, and finally start breaking those painful generational anger cycles. Don't let another year go by feeling stuck and ashamed. Join us live on Zoom or catch the replays and start experiencing the transformation God wants for you and your family. Sign up now using the link in the show notes.